The Witcher meets Diablo, I guess. Now, the hack and slash and the grinding where the combat is so fast you can't see anything, we're not going to be that fast. We're going to be much slower. Are we going to have loot, and are you going to be able to customize your character? Yes, absolutely, 100%. But are we going to be very heavily story-driven? Yes. And if you're going to ask me what the biggest criticisms are in, say, a game like Path of Exile, I love Path of Exile, to be clear, but Path of Exile's got the best story that, you know, very few people pay attention to or even, quite frankly, even know about. And I think for us, bringing narrative to the forefront is a really big deal. Now, as far as multiplayer and answering whether multiplayer can have story, I answered a little bit of this on the last stream, but I think it's really important to keep this in mind. 90% of all video game revenue is now free-to-play games. All free-to-play games are online. All free-to-play games, as far as I know, are multiplayer. So the entire industry is going this way. So rather than think it's going to be free-to-play and online, therefore the story is going to be terrible, that's only because no one's done story in this medium yet. Our goal is to bring story to this medium for the long-term viability of storytelling in the industry, and we understand it's a big hurdle for us to overcome as far as consumer goes, because there really hasn't been anyone trying to do these kind of things, but that is our goal. We're going to be very heavily narrative driven, and we understand that we need to show that, and in the future we do plan on showing that so people have a solid understanding of where we're going, and you will be able to play the game single player. You won't be forced to play it cooperatively. So all these things we need to show. We understand that there's some hesitation simply because it hasn't been done before. We've had some people tell us what we're trying to do is impossible, and that's okay. They said the same thing when we were doing Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, when we were making an RPG on the console in North America. People told us, you can't do this, no one does this, and we had a lot of people within the industry saying, you know, you guys are crazy, don't try this. You've never done an RPG before, you've never done a story-based game before, you shouldn't be attempting this now. They're some of the hardest games to make. But that's our goal. So that's the best way I can answer that question. We're going to work hard to prove it to everyone, especially in the community, that this is the direction we are going to go. And every time we show something, feel free to give us feedback, tell us how we're doing. And we know that narrative is going to be one of the things we're going to highlight, and we need to show to the community. And we do plan on doing that. Probably in a few months is when we'll start rolling that out. We have a few other big things that are coming for GDC, but then right after that I think it's going to be on the queue to show some really cool narrative. Hope that answers the question.
Thank you for the answers.
Look for more Hearts of Darknesses. I need that.
Yes. Get the 100 Hearts of Darkness, or the 99 Hearts of Darkness after you kill Malik. Don't forget.
I will do my best. Perhaps Josh here can help me with that.
Yeah, I'm sure he can. And Callie's here to help us out too now.
Alright, so my next question I have for you guys is on the webpage in the characters area. It talks about a true death. Are you guys planning on having just a single hardcore mode for the game, or are there going to be different modes, or how's that actually going to work when you say?
Okay, so the nomenclature on there for true death is when you die within the system. So because you're undead, we want to handle death very differently than just a regular life meter. We have the 3 states of, you know, the essential, vitality, and mana, where you have to lose all of those before you truly have a state of true death, and then your character would die like another game. But is there going to be a hardcore mode? I think we might want to do that for those who are completely insane, but the game is going to be a very big game, I guess for the most hardened, hardcore people, if they want it, that's something that's, quite frankly, we can do. But I see a lot of people getting really angry when their character gets deleted. So now it would be very interesting if we did something in the meta universe where you would need help from other people to bring you back, so you just couldn't do it alone. That would be interesting if that was sort of a semi-hardcore death. But yeah, so we certainly can do that, but that's not what we need particularly on that page right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just wanted to honestly clarify if you planned on just having it solo hardcore. Sorry about background noise there.
No worries. Yeah.
Josh, let me ask you a question. Is it cheating if I'm constantly letting my mana regenerate so that I can use my reflect damage ability? Is that considered hacks?
No, that's not considered hacks. That's wasting time and losing life. Your life drains over time.
Oh.
So you go ahead and build some mana back up.
I did not know that. That was a thing. I guess I do now.
I noticed that Ian's getting some Vivictuses now, so he's rocking the Vivictus.
BB.
So go ahead.
So one of the questions from the Discord from Graven Darken was, would Kain approve of the combat of this game, and will the combat from Blood Omen carry over to the HS? I guess that kind of goes along the line of the whole hack and slash bit I was dealing with earlier.
Yeah, so I think there's people are looking at the prototype from this is going to be a hack and slash game. There's going to be loot elements. And so the answer is yes, I think Kain would be very proud. Understanding a spiritual successor, when we say it's a spiritual successor to Kain, Deadhouse Sonata would be Kain made today. So, and I think I feel comfortable in saying that because I'm the one that came up for the concept for Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, wrote the story, designed a ton of the gameplay, was a programmer on it. I did cinemas on. We were a small team back then, so everyone did a lot of stuff, and this is exactly how I would do the kind of thing, something like Kain today. The medium has completely changed, and knowing all this, I feel quite comfortable in saying that Kain would be comfortable with the combat. And quite frankly, you need to understand when Kain was made before Diablo, so Diablo didn't even exist. At least when we started it in 1992. And I'm not sure when the first Diablo came out, but those kind of concepts in the games industry hadn't even been developed yet. So what we were trying to do back then was a Dark Zelda, and the closest thing to a combo is right here when you get the 3-sword slash when he says Ve Victus. When Kain says Ve Victus, that was our combo system back then. And so look towards I think you'll start to see this when we start releasing new characters and new animations. You'll start to see the combat slowing down a lot. A lot of the animations right now literally is programmer art. And what programmer art is animations done by programmers who aren't animators, and just doing the best they can, making it functional for the actual mechanics that have to work. But there's like no holds, there's no poses, there's so many things missing that the game is going to, though it functions, the way it's going to look and the way it's going to feel is going to be entirely different. So I hope that makes sense. And so we are going to go in that direction. And I think that, oh yeah, you better get that shield up, buddy. I think that Kain would be very comfortable with the direction that we're going if he was to play this game.
Okay, you could tell Ian he should probably equip his bone armor. The guys will attack him less, but yeah.
Oh.
Just a little hint there.
Yeah, bone armor makes them think that you're undead and they don't attack, they don't aggro.
Yeah, if he's telling me what things do, I can't really hear the I can't really hear the audio too well, so
Yeah, so our audio's turned down on the television so we can actually hear everyone. So always feel free to give Ian hints.
yes. So when I got the bone armor, first of all, I didn't know what I picked up. Second of all, I don't know what it does. It looks sort of cool though.
It's basically like disguise for undead.
Okay. So Josh, tell us about speedrunning Blood Omen. What is your current?
Well, speedrunning, I had looked at speedrunning when I first decided I wanted to try my hand at it about 2.5 years ago, and I started looking at all the different games out there, and I didn't want to do a game that everybody in the world speedruns, like Mario Brothers or whatnot, just because they've done everything that they possibly can for it. So I looked at other games that I enjoyed, other series that I enjoy, and Blood Omen, the whole series for the game, there's not a huge leaderboard fan base, so I figured if I could speedrun that, you know, I might be able to be on the leaderboard. I might be able to help find new paths that haven't been found yet, and maybe try to speedrun all 5 of the games. I still am working on the first. I want to get to the other 4, but I haven't really even started those yet. So
Very
about
cool.
2 years ago, or March of 2018, I started speedrunning this Blood Omen. At the end of April, me and Wormtalon, the other person that runs this game, lowered the time down about 20 minutes, and then we kind of stopped after that. We figured we wouldn't be able to break an hour 35 minutes. And then just recently, in December, I picked it back up again. Another speedrunner who does the any percent category, named Sailor Midgard, actually got a any percent with like 20 minutes, something like that.
Wow.
And I'm like, ooh, there's somebody else running the game again. I think I should pick it up and see if I can't beat the time again. And since then, I've had a couple people say, hey, try this, hey, try that. I've completely dropped the flame sword now. I've completely passed up the implode dungeon, and I've dropped the time down to an hour, 25 minutes, and 23 seconds as of 2 days ago.
Wow!
It
Congratulations.
still has yet to be verified and put on the leaderboard, but that run should be complete without any issue.
That's very cool.
Is this glitchless? Is this with bugs? Is this without?
You are breaking up. I can barely hear you.
Is this glitchless? Is this with glitches?
I do glitchless any percent, so I play the game as it's intended to be played without finding all this.
Okay. It's really impressive. An hour and you said 22 minutes?
25.
Wow.
I'd like to see 22. 22 would be nice.
I'm well, I've gone through what I've heard is about an hour and a half of the game in about 5 hours, so I'm learning. I'm a bit behind.
That's about right.
I know.
All right, so
I know my
Oh,
health
go ahead.
is draining, but I'm if I go in there, I'll slide into spikes. Don't worry about it.
all right, so we have a question from Bloodswords88 on Twitch, and this is actually somewhat related to one of the questions I wanted to ask, so that's awesome. And it is, will the enemy AI adapt to the players, to what the players do, and will their skill, oh, I'm sorry, I totally misread all that. Will the enemy AI adapt to what the player does and their skill, or will the game have a set AI based on the difficulty chosen?
So that's a great question. So the AI right now is super preliminary. So let me take it from the top down. Right now, there's virtually very little AI, and all the enemies do is just run at you. The first thing that's going to change and I like to equate it to some of our earliest games. We're going to start having enemies move in formations. So there'll be groups and parties. So there'll be a healer, there'll be like a front line, there'll be some damage dealers and some casters in the back. So you're going to start to see the AI work like that. Now, will the AI adapt as people play? We have a lot of people, actually, including myself. My background, for those who are unaware, I've got a computer science background. My master's was in neural networks. I did some neural network stuff and some user interface stuff. And the idea was, and the idea of a lot of the things that I do is how can we use, adaptive learning, and which we're going to be doing, especially for some very interesting narrative things. So, though we don't have any specific plans for the AI and learning, if that's something that is very requested by the user base, we can certainly do it. I've generally found, in my experience with games, that gamers don't seem to really notice that stuff that much, but having adaptive algorithms and having the AI learn is certainly something we can do. It's got to be well received by the community, and I guess some testing and seeing what the feedback is, but we can certainly do something like that if that's something people wanted.
Would definitely make combat different. You couldn't script the combat on to where you would be able to go and attack. It definitely ruined speedrunners.
Oh,
If they had to keep adjusting.
yeah. I think so you can't see it yet, but speed running in Deadhouse is going to be pretty challenging because we procedurally generate the levels.
Yeah, I know. I was just saying, people that try to push the limits of getting through places quickly.
Yeah.
And you see that in like Diablo and Path of Exile type thing, where they are procedurally generated, yet they still finish the game in 50 minutes or less, kind of.
Wow. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how our stuff works out, because I know we are doing some things radically differently. There's different experiences that people want to get. And say once you start speed running, certainly you know the plot, you know everything, so you're not trying to take in the story. I think if you bash the crates, man, you get stuff right. Did you bash the crates with the mace? No. Yes.
There are no crates.
Up the treasure up there? It's all locked.
Yeah.
Did you hit the thing there?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. No, you.
Yeah, but I already.
Oh, you already did
tried
it.
that.
Oh, so you turned it on. It was blue. Blue's on.
Yep, I know.
Okay.
So I go through here.
Yeah.
This treasure's already opened. I pull
Okay.
that thing.
Yeah.
That room can be a nightmare for me on the speed run.
Oh.
I tend to double tap those switches quite a bit.
It's really easy if you move while you're
Yeah.
touching the switch to immediately redo
All
it.
right, we have another question from Discord from Sojanger-esque. It's when will other classes be rebuilt? Do you have a timeline on when you plan on rebuilding them?
Well, I take it. It's referring to the detailed description on how the classes are actually going to work, because you can see all the classes now on the website. There's 7 of them that we're planning on launching with. There could be more in the future. Yeah, we're rolling out, I believe the vampire is next week, I think. Is that correct?
Yep.
So we're going to roll out the detail on the vampire next week and how the vampire is going to play. We'll probably... We plan on rolling them out over the next few months, so we're going to get more on top of that as best we can, and trying to update everything, keeping all the balls in the air, is because we're always getting pulled in different directions is a challenge. But let us know what classes you guys want to see next, and we'll prioritize them. I know there's been a lot of questions about the Wraith right now in the Discord, so we can always queue the Wraith up and get them out sooner, and try to illustrate where we're going with the game. So.
All right. So one of my other questions that I had was, the names of people who do great things will have their names remembered for future ages. Are you gonna have a way of preventing or having people that decide to go with really funky names like XX Shiny XX Pikachu, blah blah blah, from being used so that doesn't mess with the immersion?
Doesn't pollute the universe. Yeah, we're talking about that now, exactly how to do it, and we also want to try that. Also want to also work in a true name system as well. True names is going to be one of the also interesting gameplay mechanics we want to put in there. So if Pikachu XYZ wants to be known online as Pikachu XYZ, I think we'll have a sort of in-context name so say Pikachu XYZ would be called Vlad as far as the name goes, and then there would be a true name as well that you should never reveal to anyone, just like your secret password, because bad things will happen.
Thank you for that question. This door, Josh, if you can see where I am, this door that I'm at, I see there's a portal north of it. How do I open that door? Because I've gone through the other rooms, and the bottom right room is an exit.
I think you have to click that northern switch again.
Oh, okay.
The light's off.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we
There
go.
you go.
Thanks for that.
Alrighty.
Okay. I'm going to switch back to the source. Do some.
Alright, here's another question from Bloodswords88. When there is no combat, will the camera pan in or out during exploration to show things in the game like hints and puzzles or certain items or sections like Eternal Darkness?
That's a great question. Yeah, so we're gonna. It's not shown yet, but we're gonna have a whole contextual camera system for storytelling and content delivery. So that's not seen right now. All we're showing is some quick combat, but camera systems and telling a story through, just visual camera position is very important, I think, as a narrative device, and we'll certainly be doing that. So so the answer is yes. That's the plan.
Of course, during combat, you'll be able to zoom your camera in and out as you see fit.
Camera's adjustable, correct?
Yes.
Where in Eternal Darkness, you could never adjust the camera.
Yep.
Alright, so here's another one of my questions. It's what is the lore for the werebats, werewolves, etc.? And that's because in Blood Omen, we have Kain turning into werebear, or werewolf, and later on in some specific hidden areas, you see actual werewolves there. Is there any specific lore behind them per se, or is that something that you haven't actually looked into yet?
No, we've done a lot of research. There will be lore. The whole idea of the game is we want to put as much deep lore in as we can. And so shape-shifting for the vampire is one of the most interesting things about the vampire. So we're going to have, and yes, we have talked about werebears, by the way. I love werebears. So werewolves, werebears, Draco-liches. We've got several ideas and interesting forms that players will be able to make the choice on what they want to transform into. And shape-shifting moves the vampire more towards the essential realm, and there will be various ways and things that you have to do to acquire the shape-shifting and the forms to get that way. But that's very typical even in Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. So there'll be certain quests that you go on to get those forms. And those forms, some of them can be crazy powerful, and some of them are just really fun. And so I'm looking forward to seeing the reaction of some of the forms that we're going to release. You turned it off again. You want the light on, yeah.
pretty sure.
I'm looking forward to
This-
the werewolf naturally because that's what I used to speedrun. I'm planning on basing a whole thing around it. But
Cool.
question from Golden Zan from Discord is how will newer players be able to interact with older ages if possible? How will they be able to basically relive the past? See Pat.
Well, you'll be able to visit locations, but reliving the past, other than being told the stories, it's going to be a living, breathing universe. So things that say Golden Zan joins us in the first age, and his exploits become famous throughout the world, and someone's playing in the third age or the fifth age, they will be able to visit the locations that Golden Zan made history in, but they won't be able to experience those same things because the world's different and evolving. So now, will we be able to have different mediums where we can show some of the exploits of what Golden Zan did? Will there be relics left over from, say, weapons that Golden Zan crafted in the first age that have become super powerful artifacts over time? Yeah, absolutely. But that's kind of the idea. So once an age is over, it's over forever. That's sort of the way we're treating the ages. Open to feedback. Please let us know what you think about that. We don't know anyone else who's attempted this kind of thing before, and I'm really looking forward to getting as much feedback as we can because, quite frankly, we're making this game for you guys and gals, and it's made for gamers, so feedback from gamers is what we crave. So let us know.
All right.
Yeah, that's fun. I love.
It's random.
Destroying everyone. Is it?
It's random, yeah.
It's random.
Yeah. So there's the font of putrescence.
Yeah.
Have you seen that work? Do you know how that works?
Which one?
When they turn into the pool of slime, any other character that walks into it also turns into slime.
I've used the spell, but I haven't seen
It's pretty cool.
someone doing
The last battle, it works really well. There's certain areas where it works really well. Anyway, sorry about that. You were going to say something, Josh. Continue.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna fire up the next question. It's from Livin off the Discord. Will there be upgrades, enhancements gained through rituals or other methods other than leveling?
Yes. That's the idea. And we want to, I guess, to answer more than just a single word answer, we want to do it contextually and through narrative and through some really... we think that one of the things that really distinguishes, say, a Dungeons and Dragons game when you're playing on tabletop and video games is often narrative and I guess world building are mixed in with the gameplay, where in video games they're quite separate. We want to really try to merge those in as best we can. So the answer is yes.
That's a good answer. One question that I had is actually for the Blood Omen game. There's a couple buildings that have a sword and a shield in them on the ground with a picture like you would go to a spell dungeon. Were there plans on being a different sword and possibly even a shield in the game to be?
Yes. So those a lot of those icons were done in the very early beginnings when things were spec'd out. So whenever you see an image on the ground like that, that was something that we had planned, and if it didn't make it into the game, it was cut for time. But I believe with the sword and shield, that was planned.
Yeah, I just looked at the stream and he was going through Corhagen where the one thing, and this kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, each one of those were they were the images for the spell cards. So everything that's there was something planned for each one of those, and they didn't all make it into the game because of time constraints,
So
unfortunately.
there was going to be a Grim Reaper spell?
Yes.
Wow. All right.
What would that have done?
Cool stuff.
Well, I'm going back 20 years, but
That's
it
fair.
would have been death and carnage, lots of mayhem. It was going to be a screen wipe kind of spell, where a very powerful one.
More OP than Energy Shield?
Yeah, it was going to be a pretty OP spell. It was, if I recall correctly, and again, bear with me because we're going back a long time. Basically, you summon the Grim Reaper and he goes through and essentially destroys everything that's around for a while. He's just, he's kind of your carnage buddy.
All right. Next question is from James Carmichael on Twitch. Is there any real life mythology history you've taken inspiration from for Dead House?
So real life, I would say yes, on several levels. So I think we all stand on the shoulders of giants, and when it comes to creating something, nothing's ever truly your own. You learn things through experience, and even with the spelling of Dead House, we've obviously got our Eastern Europe Germanic roots, where we're trying to go with Dead House Sonata, but also the whole structure of a sonata is something that's going to be very thematic for the game. If you even look at some of the lore on the website right now, you'll see the Sonata of Justice. The way that little short piece is written, it's written in sonata allegro form, which is basically the form of a sonata is a classical music piece where you introduce one concept, then you introduce another and mix them together, and then the third, the recapitulation, brings you back to something that's a mixture of them but a different result than where you started. And that whole sort of idea is something that is really going to resonate through the game. The whole concept of true names has been in our society forever, going back way even before times of the Bible, where if you know the true name of a demon, you'll have power over him. So our magical system, there's going to be a lot of things based on true names. Now, also, Dead House Sonata is heavily influenced by, just like Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, we had The Unforgiven, we had Necroscope, Michael Moorcock were big influences for me back in 1992 when I first started conceiving this game. Dead House Sonata has Steven Erikson with Malazan Book of the Fallen, Thomas Ligotti, which blows me away every time I read his works. I think he is amazing. The Lies of Loch Lamora, which is the Gentleman Bastard cycle.
I love the Gentleman Bastard.
Oh, it's fantastic stuff. And so I think it's always important that you immerse yourself in certain types of content I think you're flying to the pillars.
Yeah, I was trying to get out of that menu.
Well, now you're flying to, and you can fly back. So the answer is yes. And also, when we start, particularly if you look at Malazan Book of the Fallen, what I like about that series is it's really a story that goes on for huge amounts of time, and it really focuses around a lot of anthropology and survival of the species. Quite frankly, where some of the original concepts of Kain were, though they weren't as developed as in my mind as they are now, where I want to take the series. So that's when we start introducing the other houses. There is a reason Dead House is a thing, and there's going to be a reason why there's the other houses, and the story and the universe is going to be quite rich, and a lot of different mythology throughout the world will be heavily, heavily influenced into Dead House. And right now with Dead House, Dead House is going to have kind of a gothic feel. So when we go to, say, Giga House, which is going to be House of the Giants, there will be a very different feel to that too. And the game itself is going to change quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to all that, and we're also, again, building with the community. We want to see what the community wants as well, but there's an endless limit of things where we want to take it. So I hope that answers the question. I was kind of long-winded, so I apologize for speaking so much.
Just trying to get some extra health before I go back to wherever.
I was wondering what you were doing, buddy.
No, I'm not lost.
Okay.
Sort of am lost, but I'm here for a reason. Just getting some health.
Callie's falling asleep on you.
So I have to go to Malik's Bastion.
All right, we got another question from Golden Zan. It's what sort of undead rivalries will we see? Will they be more than just trivia? I'm assuming that means trivia.
Yeah, so we're going to have a complex political system, and within Deadhouse, the actual politics of Deadhouse, how Deadhouse is run, and how the different factions in the Dead are really get along with each other. Will be a storyline in itself. So there'll be, like anything else, once you get a society, there's going to be politics and there's going to be rivalries. So yeah, absolutely. I hope it won't be trivial, and it won't. To be clear, it won't just be vampires versus liches versus different types. There's factions within those, and the different types of undead and how they're created actually creates sort of a hierarchy on whether they're risen or composed, and those different types of things are really going to play a role in sort of the psyche of how the undead feel about themselves, and whether are they part of the aristocracy, are they more of the grunts in the military, how's it all going to work? And so there's some very interesting things coming in that direction, and I hope no one finds it trivial anyway. We're going to explore that quite a bit. Going to try.
Sounds interesting. Definitely political scandals and whatnot going on. Next question from Cradless on Discord is going to be, will there be a weapon crafting system, and how will it work, and how will the passing of ages affect these crafted weapons?
So yes, there will be a crafting system. Crafting is what I can give you sort of the macro ideas. The details and the implementation, of course, are not implemented yet, but they will be realized. So we're going to base it on three things, and the question answered. The one part of that question answers the question. So when you craft a weapon, it's going to be based upon certain ingredients, of course, with any crafting system. When you make something with a chance of success and all of that kind of typical stuff. And then the next thing that's going to be based on, it's going to be based upon your actions in the game. And the best way I would describe what we're trying to do, imagine all the things that you do in the game are recorded in some way, and we keep a history of who you are. There's a whole concept in quantum mechanics that we are our histories, and Ian and myself, our personalities are based upon what we've done through life, from when we were born, who our parents were. All of these things make up who we are. And so for me, all of the games that I've made is going to be reflected in this game. So that concept is going to apply into the things that you craft. So something that Ian crafts would be uniquely different than something that, say, Dennis would craft, if Dennis and Ian were part of Deadhouse Sonata. Now, obviously, we will have characters and avatars. Then on top of that, the last layer would be the age itself. Ages will give very unique bonuses to certain items that are crafted, with the understanding that the older the item gets, the more stacked some of these items will be. And we want to have it in such a way that it doesn't just make everything created in the first age OP, but we want to make it very interesting in the sense that you will get very unique variances of things that are created in the first age that you won't get anywhere else. And we do want to put some kind of decay in there, obviously, again, to make sure everything isn't OP. But yeah, we want to have that ages really affect things. So if you find an artifact from the first age, it's likely to be extremely powerful by time you get to the 9th age. That's kind of the concept in at a macro level.
Josh, I could use your help again. I have no idea where to go. I feel like I'm obviously missing something.
I wasn't even watching because I was trying to answer that question. It was hard, so I don't
All
even
right,
know where you
so
are.
what you need to do, you stepped on the beacon. Did you step on the triangle? I remember you stepped on the triangle. You saw Malix Bastion. You need to
Yep.
go to Werebat form and click around until you actually hit Malix Bastion and go.
Okay. So I was trying to do that. Oh, now it works. Okay. Let's do that.
So the funny thing about these sequences, I don't know if we talked about this on last stream, but the Vista Pro, like these are done in fractal generation, procedurally generated landscape program called Vista Pro. And believe it or not, I actually did these. Kevin Gordon and I, so Kevin would do the 3D Studios Max thing, so he would put the Bastion and layer it on top of the Vista Pros, but all the bat flights were actually renders that I did. So I don't know if I had an actual art credit, but I actually did artwork in the game as well. And but Kevin, he was the master. He was the one that layered and did all this stuff. He was a fantastic artist. He was at Silicon Knights for one of the longest. He was there for a very, very long time. Good friend of mine, and he was pretty amazing in all this stuff. So a lot of people don't know this, but and I was telling these guys today because they didn't know, but a lot of this stuff was rendered in 3D and then brought over into a 2D format for the engine. So even the characters themselves were done in a program called Playmation, which was pretty interesting. And there's a fact that I know we had on our website that I just found just before we got on stream that talked about 3D Studios Max, Playmation, which is still available, I think, and by Hash Inc., I think is the name. So all of the cinemas and all the characters that you see here were all done in Playmation, then rendered out in 2D at an angle, at an ISO angle to get these characters, and then we used 3D Studios Max, and it was all composited in. So that's how we, on the technical side, how we did all this stuff.
All right, this relates back to the werewolf and the werebat lore. Somebody in Twitch chat, favorite customer, asks, since there are werewolves and werebears, will there be any other animals to switch into? And Golden also said she would like, or she would like to be a wereping.
A were-penguin? That's pretty
I like
awesome. That's pretty awesome. It'd have to be a Lovecraftian penguin. But yeah, no. Yeah, so there will definitely be multiple were forms. Happy to interact with the community on what forms they would like. I personally like werebears. I think it's kind of fun. And but we're happy to talk about and add as many forms as people would like that's doable for the game. But this is going to be online and constantly evolving, so we can always add more as we go too. So let us know if you want to be a were-penguin or something else. It's got to be we gotta make sure that it's we keep the right mood and right consistency with the game. But yeah, we can do a lot, whether it be even a were-cat, because we have cats. Cats are cool.
Yep. Penguins only found in Antarctica and Negosora. I believe that is. I believe that's something I remember learning about in school. These guys keep spawning, don't they? Okay, that's a switch. Okay.
All right, this question is from Joey Joe Jr. Shabadoo. Is the setting for Legacy of Kain on Earth or another planet? And does Blood Omen take place during a specific time period, medieval, Renaissance, etc.?
So, Nosgoth was not on Earth. It was, I would say, medieval time frame when we created it, but no, it was not Earth. I think that answered every question there, didn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Time frame, like specific time period.
900s, I would say, probably the 900s. Maybe 1200, depending on when full plate mail came into, because there are people with full plate mail. So I think that's between 900 and 1600. Before gunpowder. Oh no, there is gunpowder. There is some gunpowder in. Yeah.
There is a bit.
So
yes.
right at the so gunpowder I think came in the 1600s, or started to.
All right. So another question that I had was, you said we will be able to form towns and build places. Is there any thought process on, say, when PvP or whatever is active, one house might want to take over said town, and how would that work?
Yeah. So so once we do once the idea is we want to get the game really balanced and feeling good in a single player capacity before we move on to PvP. And once we feel we're ready, that's where we're going to introduce the next house. So we want to introduce PvP in the next houses, and then when we introduce a new house. So we say that that's Giga House. So when we introduce House of the Giants, I think you can go over that with the shield. And nope, maybe not. Sorry, maybe throw a bolt. But anyway, I'm forgetting myself. So the first, I'm trying to remember the first question, but the answer is PvP will come in with the other houses. What was the first part of that question? I'm sorry.
You had stated that we will be able to create towns. So say we create town X, and say Giga House comes along and they're doing their quest and moving along whatsoever. Is there a possibility that they can take over that town, that hub area, from Dead House and vice versa?
Yeah, so the whole idea of war is all about usually conquest and taking over land. So having PvP in a persistent world would absolutely, I think, require that be a possibility. I know it wouldn't make any sense if we didn't do that. How we execute that and how we implement it is TBD. But yeah, I would like to see a lot of that stuff in there. Speed run, buddy. Come on, you can do it.
I know.
He's already done. Taking too long to get through Malik's.
Well, so I heard from the community that this is an exceptionally difficult area to get through. Solely because
can't hear anything he's saying.
I heard from the community that this is an exceptionally difficult area solely because there's very few sources of health. So I don't know. I haven't died yet.
That's good.
I'll take it. Thank you. Oh.
All right, here's a question from Golden. Will the game have subtitles? Could players use text-to-speech in the game, translations, and will caption sounds in the environment, like Half-Life 2?
Oh, that was a bunch of questions.
Yeah, there's a bunch there.
Yeah.
It's all dealing with subtitles and translation, text-to-speech, and whatnot.
Right. So will there be subtitles? Almost certainly. Text-to-speech and doing text-to-speech is so powerful. Doing text-to-speech is really going to require that we be able to pass the Turing test. And so the text-to-speech idea with the voice skinning is really going to come down to how high can we get the quality. If we can get the quality to the point where the Turing test is passed, where you can type in text and it comes out in a voice that sounds human, and then you can add voice skinning to it. Imagine the potential of what we can do and what the community can do as far as storytelling goes. So, as an example, if we have NASDAQ, the voice of NASDAQ as you see in the old world narration, if we have that voice skinned and then someone types in story that they want him to read, then you will be able to get that voice in the game all the time just by creating your own context. And then you can even start doing crazier things. So if you can go to English to Russian and then voice skin the Russian, so suddenly you've got a Russian translation with voice, or Japanese or Korean or Chinese or whatever it's coming to. As long as we can keep the quality high, I think that's really, really powerful. And that's really going to determine whether those aspects will come into the game or not. But I would really personally like to see this. This is the most cutting edge and the most high risk of some of the things that we're talking about. But the potential is groundbreaking, and it will truly change video games forever if we're able to get those kind of things going.
First death of the night. First, I believe that's the first Heart of Darkness I've used. Maybe the second one.
You're fine, man. You're doing great. You're doing much better than last time, in my opinion.
Last time I was okay. I think I only died during the boss fight there, but
Yeah.
All right, we got another question from favorite customer on Twitch, and it is: if there will be a Lovecraftian horror involved, is it the kind that has to do with weird squid monsters, or the dread of unknown?
I think that's a fantastic question. I think Lovecraft, the best Lovecraft, really is got to do with the horror of the unknown. And when you look at Eternal Darkness as an example, which I think is my most Lovecraftian game to date, and there will be Lovecraft elements in Dead House Sonata, that we had very little tentacles. I think that it's become too popularized, in my opinion. So we do want to keep the whole ideas of sanity and the dark, imposing nature of Lovecraft. We want to stay true to that vision. I always want to, anyway. So, I would hate just to make it all, tentacle, too many tentacles and not enough actual real content and horror. So that's the way I want to see it go, and the way we will insert it into Dead House Sonata. There will be some Lovecraft stuff for sure, and we're talking about there's an entire house dedicated to sort of Lovecraftian things. That's a whole story for another day.
okay. Thank you, favorite customer, for that question. You're
That
my
was
favorite
great.
customer.
Excellent. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard the crazy train.
All right, this one's from Golden Zan as well. Will DHS have fetch quests? What type of quests are we expecting? Please no, tons of.
Yeah. Wow. So fetch quests are the worst. We understand that. And a good game design, doing it right, will remove or eliminate, hopefully, the appearance of those. But that's often the case with some fetch quests. It's in the eye of the beholder. Getting any kind of item could be considered a fetch quest. So I guess what we can try to say is we're going to try to put as much context as we can and lore in the game. But I have yet to see a game technically without a fetch quest that has quests at all. So in some sense, the answer is we're going to try to avoid them and do good game design as best we can. And we would hope so. I think that's the answer. Iron, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to avoid fetch quests.
Yeah.
So long as they're done right and not just constantly.
I think they're
go to this
more
area.
concerned about. I need you to go gather 20 flowers, which are located right around this area that I could pick up myself.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
awful. Yeah,
is the dumb fetch quest.
yeah, that's bad game design. We're gonna try to avoid that for sure.
Okay.
Ian's almost got it.
Am I almost there? Is that
You are.
okay?
And another question from Golden Zan is: will there be room for romance in Dead House?
Not something we've thought about. Something we've joked about, though.
No, I think so. I think I think there needs to be vampires themselves. There's a lot of lore that surrounds itself with romance. Bram Stoker's Dracula, famous for and built around a romance. One could argue that Bram Stoker's Dracula is a romance. Now, there's other areas that go into very bad taste, but I would say that we're very open to it, and we want to do it tastefully. And in the end, if there's enough want from the community, we can certainly get that kind of thing in there. So,
Dating sim Sonata confirmed.
dating sim Sonata. Well, I don't know about that. That's probably not going to happen. But dating sim Sonata.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, chat, for the good feedback,
For the good vibes,
the good vibes.
jamming with Ian Stenhouse on Discord.
Not too
On Discord, on Twitch, I mean.
not too many deaths so far. Hopefully, not too many Fs in the chats.
Is there any Fs in the chats? I don't think so. You're playing better.
I'm not even giving him an F. It's okay.
There you
It's
go.
doing good.
Okay, I'll take it. Thank you, Josh. Oh boy, those spinning blades are fun.
It's funny. It's funny when I see these now. I remember just some of the AIs are very, very basic, and all they do is go on paths and stuff. And back in those days, that was, very totally acceptable. Which I don't think that would be acceptable in today's world.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I'm not sure about that.
All right, so I've got another question from Chain BS. Was the Saturn port difficult to make for Blood?
No. So the Saturn port was not difficult. We had already. So we were. I don't know if anyone remembers this game. It was a game by Toys for Bob called The Horde. They also did. We also at the time Silicon Knights worked on Star Control 2 as well. So we worked on those games and had become familiar with the actual Saturn itself and the hardware. And the only reason that the Saturn version never really got completed is I think by time we finished the game on the PS1, the Saturn market had pretty much died, and no one wanted to spend the money to actually get the game out there because they didn't think it would make any money because the market had evaporated for it, unfortunately. I personally loved the Saturn. I thought it was a great system. But yeah, the timing was just off for that. So, but yeah. So I think Doug Tooley worked on that a lot. He also worked on the map making editor tools that you see here. He was the main driver behind that. Great programmer and good friend. And he helped bring this game alive. Anyway, he was doing the Saturn ports, and it was with Toys for Bob that we started that stuff. And so by the time it came around to getting the Saturn underway or finalizing the Saturn port, it just became not worth it.
Oh my word. Okay.
Oh, you're going chewing through all your magic.
All right, I've got another question. It relates to the alpha build of Blood Omen. Why was the original opening changed from Kain being assassinated at a campfire and into the?
You got cut off right at the end. What was the last part? Cain being assassinated into a campfire and what?
Says here, one of the things I'm curious about is why they changed to the beginning from the alpha build. Stumbling upon your assassins by the campfire seemed a better idea. That's just this person's opinion. It's one of people that was talking to me on stream a couple.
Sure. Can you elaborate on that? I don't think I even understand the context. So.
Just more along the lines of why you guys decided to change the opening from the campfire scene to the tavern.
I actually. I'm trying to remember the campfire scene in particular, and I frankly don't remember that. I thought it might have been that the campfire scene was temporary and never intended to be final. And a lot of the level design here, we allowed people to be very open in the design and sort of create their own mini stories. But from what I recall in the story, I thought we were always at the tavern. That was always the intention. So, and I'm trying to. I only vaguely remember the campfire, vaguely, but I think it was always meant to be temporary. So I think there wasn't any reason except it was a work in progress at that point. This is the boss.
Oh, this is the boss.
Oh,
this is him.
is that the boss?
Okay, let's do this. Whew.
Pro tip: energy shield.
Energy shield, yeah.
Energy shield. I was thinking energy shield. I just need just a bit more mana, and he's not that fast.
All right, this is a question from Caleb Lowlife. Will Age 1 Founder Pack tiers include further Age Founder Packs, or will we have to repurchase them? Say we buy a current 4th tier, will that include up to the 4th tier of the next pack?
Yeah. So sorry if that's not clear. You never have to buy into the ages. Once you start playing, you will have access to all the ages. So the idea of the ages is the sooner in that you're willing to commit to Dead House Sonata, the more rewards you're going to have in the both narrative and in sort of the long-term development of the world. So yeah, you'll never have to buy for age 2 or age 3 or anything. We're not going to do that. We're going to make it very ethical. The whole idea of Dead House Sonata is, as far as the experience goes, you should always be able to play the game for free, and we don't want to over monetize it. We want to be as ethical as possible, and not affect gameplay and stuff like that. So no. If you start the game and we're on the first age, you'll have access to every age after that. And if you start the game at the 5th age, you'll have access to the 6th and the 7th and the 8th and all of that stuff moving forward.
Oh. Is that Havoc and Malice?
That is Havoc and Malice.
Havoc and Malice, boys.
I think to clarify on that question a little bit,
Sure.
with these starter founder packs, you're giving the incentives like Havoc and Malice and the armor sets and the forum badges and whatnot. Future packs, are you planning on doing things like that, and will the first age packs incorporate those?
Yes, and so to be clear, Havoc and Malice are skins on weapons. It won't affect gameplay. So just like the different armor sets will change your appearance, they won't affect gameplay. So you don't have to spend money to get a better gameplay. People, if they want to play entirely for free, will be able to. So the answer is yes, but just please keep in mind that all the things that we're going to monetize will be cosmetic. That's the idea. And the ages, of course, we're really talking about getting in the game early. For the first stage, it's going to be very early. We're showing the game way ahead of time. There you go, buddy. Spin to win.
I like
It's
that.
that's my favorite move in the whole game, actually, is and Havoc and Malice. That's why we've got a little homage. But at the end of the day, yeah. So
Sorry.
he's still fun after all this time. Cutting down some trees.
Yeah, forests. Pff.
Yeah, that's right. We did that answer the question, Josh?
Okay.
Yes, that answers the question.
Cool.
Next question from Caleb as well. Can we expect the progress achieved on PC to be transferable to console when it finally rolls out, or will we have to restart the whole progress over?
Yeah, no, we expect to have transparency between all different platforms. So regardless of what platform you're on, we will want the experience to be completely transparent.
Okay. I'm switching back to the sword. It seems a bit faster. Okay, back into it.
Don't remember if it's this town or not, but I know he needs the access to get there, and he needs Wolf.
Need the access to get where? Sorry.
The
you cut out.
99 Hearts of Darkness.
The 99 Hearts of Darkness. 99. I could use that.
Yes.
High upon the face of these cliffs, hidden amongst the complex network of
What's that?
the underground sanctity of the wise Oracle of Northgard.
Oracle. It's your next goal.
Perhaps it was time to brave
Oh, okay.
and seek out this
I think the 99 Hearts comes in. Where? I can't remember where the 99 Hearts are. I just know you need the access to get.
You need the access and you have to possess people for them.
Yeah, I just don't remember which exit it is. I can't remember if it's this one or the next one.
I don't think I have the ability to possess people.
Possess. You need possess.
Oh. Okay.
You almost died there, buddy.
I know.
All right. We do have another question from Twitch from Chains, Chain BS. Do you have any plans for a VR game?
We have no current plans for VR right now, and we're really concentrating on just the game itself. If it makes sense and there's a huge request by the community, we can certainly look into it. But right now, there's no plans for VR or AR.
I'm honestly trying to remember where the exit to the dungeon is for the.
He doesn't have possess right now, so he for sure can't do it.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, it's got to be a little later then.
Yeah, you need to be able to possess people so that you can sacrifice them. So a little Hellraiser homage.
Oh, is that from?
All right, so another question from James Carmichael on Twitch is, one of my favorite games is Fable, where your character ages, gets battle scarred, etc. as the game goes on. Since Deadhouse will have ages, will we see characters age, environments change, etc. as we play? What are the aging effects you plan on?
So, well, you're undead, so you're kind of eternal. And I guess we have a concept that's kind of the inverse of that, and that's age of death. So how long have you been dead until you decide to come back? Now, will we have battle scars and will we have your appearance be based upon things that you do? I think that would be really cool, and that is definitely a direction we want to go in. I agree, and I love Fable for that too. I thought that was really cool. And, you know, even by your decisions would change the way that you looked. I thought that was some pretty interesting stuff. So we do want to do things along that line. And the whole idea of age of death is, are you going to be ripe? So you've just been dead a few days and you come back to life? Or are you going to be dead 10,000 years and you're completely ethereal, what does that mean for when you make your class? How does that affect your gameplay? Those are the kind of things that we're looking at. And having what you do in the game reflect upon how you look, I think that's fantastic. The more that we can do in that area, we're going to try. It's really just a matter of how much can we get in. The great thing is about being online and free to play, these are systems that we can add as we go. And if the community really wants them, we can continue to work on them and prioritize things as there's possession. I think this is possession right here, buddy. Yeah, mine. And so the answer is we're going to try. We'll see how it goes. Go. Do it
Go.
again.
Go
The
what?
spell. Do the spell. Oh, suck what? Oh, is that just stun? That's not mind control.
Oh,
I
okay.
take it back.
Well, I'll take it. I need some blood.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Thank you. Thank you,
See how
game.
much better you're getting? We're doing great now.
All right. Next question from Golden Zan on the Discord. Will the game have mini maps? Will they be pre-revealed, or will we have to explore?
The current plan is for the game to have mini maps. Most games that have procedurally generated
Ian is
levels
cutting out.
have.
You need to unmute.
Well, they can hear me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, most games that are procedurally generated levels have mini maps. Warframe is a good example. They have their levels procedurally generated. Mini maps help players see enemies on the map or just general direction. So that is the current plan. Thank you for the question, Golden Zen. Okay.
All right. Got another one from
Why is she using
Caleb,
a stun?
Caleb Life. Will we be able to choose how we died? Our history.
That's very interesting. So how you died and finding out how you die was going to be definitely something we wanted to explore. We had not contemplated to have players actually choose that and be part of the character creation process. We're going to open that for discussion in the future and decide on that. It's a cool idea. And I guess the question is, would people like some things to be predetermined, or would they want them to be, you choose how you died, and then how could we work that in a story? You know, were you killed by a vampire, or, you know, because that could work really well with ages as well. We're jamming already. Anyway, so TBD, to be determined. But great suggestion, and thank you for that input very much. I don't know if you realize it, but we did hit our goal. You got Malik.
Yeah, my goal tonight was to get past Malik's Bastion and get Havoc and Malice.
Which you did.
And I did, yes.
All right. And he did, and he's got like 40 minutes left.
Look at you.
He's doing good. All right, James Carmichael has another question, and it is: what are the chances we can get Simon Templeton to have a little cameo in Dead House?
There are chances. We should explore the possibilities.
Yeah, that sounds about right, you know. Okay.
You saved. You're good.
So the second I get out of the dungeon, I immediately just walk right into the water. Yeah, that sounds about right. This is my favorite of the transformations.
Well, you can stun them theoretically.
But
Oh, you
if
can't.
if I stun one of them, they'll all come after me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna risk it. Oh, well.
I think he was hurting you.
Okay.
Okay, I've got another question for you. I can't remember if it's blood. It's the weaker version of the blood draw, not the big one that you find in Borodors. On it, it states that you use your own blood to do it, but it honestly only pulls from your mana. Is that a coding error, or
Just
did you change it?
yeah, just a coherence error. So when we first started designing the game, I think we wanted to use the entire concept of blood magic, where you didn't have magic, and so essentially the concept of blood magic is you use your own life force to cast spells, but then that removed the magic meter. There was a gameplay discussion. Oh, I can't remember when, but essentially the result was people thought that they really wanted to have magic, so we removed the concept of blood magic from the game itself, and we gave Kain mana. That was a holdover and a continuity error that we missed, I would guess.
What's that? Oh, it does not look.
All right, here's one from favorite customer on Twitch. If a player can invite new players into the game, does that imply their game character killed the person who becomes a new?
Well, that kind of family lineage, and those are the kind of things we, excuse me, that we want to incorporate into the ages. And doing things like that, having a living, breathing story, is something that we can certainly develop with the community and what they would like to see. I feel personally that stuff is very interesting, and you then start getting into the I guess interesting discussions of, well, what if this person wants to be in? What if they get invited in and they find out that they're in this family lineage that they don't want to be in? Just like someone becomes a vampire because they didn't want to, or someone becomes turned because they did want it. Those kind of questions are things that, if we can work out the best system, I would certainly like to see that in the game. Nope, do you want to get that?
Yeah, I need that. Oh, what is that?
I have a feeling that he's going to spend the rest of the stream in here.
Yeah,
Is this? What is? Where am I? What is this?
it's the Oracle.
Oh, it's great aim.
Stop ripping on my
All
game,
right.
man.
A question from Golden Zan from the Discord. How will combat stay realistic when fighting enemies of varying sizes? The same hurt animation when hit by a big axe versus a tiny dagger.
Yeah, so you can't see that in the current. You can't see that in the current footage, but we are going to. We're going to have different kinds of pauses and different kinds of hits and holds, and all that's coming. In the prototype, we didn't do that. There wasn't. It's just not implemented yet, but that's all coming. Yeah, I think that's pretty much a must for games. And who knows, we might be able to drop some footage over the next couple weeks to show everyone sort of the development of those particular systems. Okay. The heart of darkness.
Yeah, get ready, boys. Heart of Darkness in what, 10 maybe? Oh, I think I may.
You're almost there, buddy.
Ooh, no Heart of Darkness. I like
Yeah.
that.
Well, you still got a ways to go.
Very Victus.
Way
All right.
Rickies.
Chain BS is asking, what is the lore behind the save points, if there is any at all? Or is this just a gameplay?
Behind the save points in Blood Omen Legacy of Kain?
Yes.
I'm trying to remember. I'm a big fan of obelisks, obviously, and Egyptian architecture. And that's the whole idea of sort of the Egyptian, the whole idea of the sort of Egyptian historical mythology behind vampires. I don't know if anyone ever watched Penny Dreadful. I think they explored it really well. I think they did some cool stuff for some of that. Is really where the obelisks come from, and they're sort of like you chronicling your history as Kain, and that was the idea of creating those obelisks the way that they were. And that was really just simply from that idea, is that there's a lot of vampire lore that does come from the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and that's why there are obelisks in there and on the save points, and that's why it is what they are.
Oh, I think I've been here.
Were you here?
I think I was.
All right. So another question from favorite customer: is there an existing detailed artwork about all the different monsters in this game? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's talking Dead House or Blood Omen.
Well, there will be for Dead House. I don't think so for Kain. I don't think so. I think we just created as many as we could with the time that we had. And a lot of them were just designed on the fly when people came up with ideas, and we dropped them in. We certainly, a lot of the concepts are very similar to what's in Dark Legions, which was my previous title, which actually did have a vampire in it, and that was a homage to Archon in many ways too, which ironically some of the guys from Tours for Bob were actually on and worked on Archon. This is a classic game. Is one of the first big video games that I really got into. You can see that in some of the videos that we have in our channel. But anyway, so I think the answer is no for Legacy of Kain. For Dead House Sonata, yeah, absolutely. We will concept everything out. A lot of the artwork that you're seeing right now in the demo and prototype, just thrown in there really quickly, and will be removed eventually.
Oh no. Oh.
You got it now.
I didn't see that before.
All right. Another question from Chain is, what is the inspiration for the combat system in the game? I'm assuming he's referring to Dead House. And what would it be the closest to?
So we're combining, what we want to do is we want to combine really two concepts. We want to take, so the way that the systems are being worked right now is we're combining skill tree based systems that you see often in action RPGs like Diablo and Path of Exile with games like, say, Dark Souls or more combo driven games. And depending on the character class and the choices that you make and the weapons that you have, we'll mix these two systems to really have a unique integration of what you can do with them. So the weapons will determine types of combos. Your character class and the skills you take will determine what's layered on top of that. And that's the way I would describe our current system. So really a mix of sort of a Dark Souls, Bloodborne, with Diablo and Path of Exile from a gameplay point of view. Oh, don't forget that button. Yep, there you go. Look at that. Look at you. You're rolling, man. You're cooking with gasoline.
Cooking with gasoline. I'm liking it. I think.
That's one of the things about, Blood Omen is once you start getting used to the systems and start understanding them, the game, it's more of an understanding of the concepts of what's going on. Then you start to figure it out. You get you're now at the point where I feel we don't, besides navigation, we don't have to 2D you or anything. So
Yeah.
All right, Caleb Lowlife has another question from Twitch, and it is: if skills and stats are gained through narrative, can we expect to have OP characters, or will there be some sort of
we'll never want OP characters. So how we cap things, TBD, but there'll need to be some way in which we stop characters from becoming. It would be really neat for characters to become elder gods at some level, but
Yeah.
if that's the case, their gameplay would have to change substantially, and them walking among the, I don't know, non-gods, it would have to be a substantial transition if we ever let people become gods. That would be kind of interesting, though. But we will cap it, yes, somehow. Wouldn't it be interesting, though, if you live through, like, 20 ages, suddenly you become an elder, and then you start creating realms just by your actions? There's so many cool things that we can do with that. Persistent universes are very interesting to me, and the emergent gameplay that we can get out of it are really limited to our imagination. So any ideas that the community may have in that regards, let us know. I know that given the time and the resources, nothing is impossible. It's just dedication and tenacity to get it done.
Okay.
All right, we got a question from Nicole DLL 1999. Where did the idea for Dead House Sonata first come from? Was it born from Legacy of Kain, or is it a separate idea that you decided to work on Legacy of Kain into?
No. So the concept for Dead House Sonata, I came up with about 6 months before we created Apocalypse. And we created Apocalypse around the idea to make Dead House Sonata. And Dead House Sonata really, I guess, bore out from the idea of there hasn't been a game like Legacy of Kain in way too long. We had just finished trying to reignite the Legacy of Kain community and doing a reboot of the entire series that never happened, unfortunately. And so I then started thinking back, said, okay, if I was to do a Legacy of Kain game today with today's technology, with the medium as it is, what would it be? And then the next step was super easy. It was like, okay, Dead House Sonata, where the idea is it was always a spiritual successor. And when people think about, well, a spiritual successor needs to be exactly the same, not in my eyes. A spiritual successor has to have the same spirit, but Dead House Sonata is going to have very different aspects about it compared to, say, Legacy of Kain. Obviously, we're not ISO, we're obviously not an action-adventure, but we are going to have very deep story elements. And so the roots are heavily rooted in Dead House itself and the idea of playing the undead, but we're really taking it to the modern medium. So, but it was always in intention. As a matter of fact, the original concept for the game has upon a spiritual successor, which is just a play on words in many ways, but always intended to be a spiritual successor to Legacy of Kain. Always the case from the ground up.
Died a couple times there.
You're doing fine.
Okay.
I am
Ooh.
truly impressed he made it through in the time that he did.
Yeah, you did great, actually.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. Oh, is that the dungeon? Is anything else up here?
This could be the save before
Take a
the oracle. Yeah, you saved. You're good. What do you do?
I was just trying to find the map. Yeah, this
All right,
is.
here's a question from Cradless on Discord. Can I steal older, powerful weapons from other players?
Was there words missing from there? Can you?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Maybe you broke up. I'm not hearing anything. Did something break?
Will I be able to steal older and more powerful weapons from other players?
Oh,
Steal weapons from players.
TBD. So will people be able to craft items throughout the ages and create relics to pass on to other players? Yes. The whole idea of stealing, have to see. That could be potentially a PvP element, maybe a risk-reward system. I know that those systems can be very punishing. And when I'm thinking about Ultima Online and all those type of games, man, that stuff was nasty when your body got looted and stuff. So there was many sad days when I was looted. So I guess TBD.
Okay. Oh, cutscene.
To what extent will physics be present in combat? This is from Golden on Discord.
To what extent will physics be in combat? Well, there's not much physics in the game right now. So cloth physics and all that stuff, of course, will be implemented. Physics, as far as gameplay goes, we're going to try to get in as much as possible. Physics is, I think, really good in versus kinematics. We were talking about that today. So as an example, some games that have super powerful enemies don't have hit reactions in because the enemies are so tough, and they don't want you to be able to create so many hit stalls that you can just beat them with light attacks. The trick to that is to have IK in there so they don't really have hit stalls, but you can still see the hits. So using physics in the right way for cloth and for other things is definitely something that we're going to be implementing and installing, as well as the weather systems and all of the true time of day stuff that Yuri's working on that's really cool looking. So there's a lot of systems that we're going to be rolling out, and all of these things are going to come into effect for the game itself. So that's the best way to explain that we are going to use physics.
We'll use that as a moment. Quick shout out to Yuri, our technical director. He's been working on some weather systems that will allow us to have secrets around the weather, like the moon caves in Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain. So he's doing some really great work out there. So good job, Yuri. I did not hear any of that audio, so I don't know if I missed something.
No, you did it all.
Okay,
You're
cool.
good.
Oh, there's a place over here. Awesome.
The biggest takeaway from that is time, Kain, next time. That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
That's right. That's a pretty big foreshadowing for the story.
Oh, for the...
Yeah.
So I didn't hear what this was. Do you recognize that?
You can,
I guess I can just try it out.
yeah. Is that possession?
It might be, but it's using a lot of my energy. Oh.
Quit crying.
True. Sorry. I have to get good, as the kids say.
I think that's not stun. He already got stun.
Yeah, he has stun. Well, you can go into the inventory and see what it is, and we'll turn up the volume.
All I know is it's not used in the speed run, so
Oh,
I bypass it. All right, got another question from James Carmichael, and it is: the thirst for Legacy of Kain seems to be high right now. Have you been aware of its following throughout the years, and how do you feel about fan-made projects based on or directly related to Blood?
So yeah, absolutely. I'm a huge believer. So I try to keep in touch with, or have tried to keep in touch with, the Legacy of Kain community always. And when oftentimes people would ask me questions about it. I always try to answer as best I could. I've hung out in forums for the longest time, a lot of times just lurking or checking things out, and people are often asking me, what do I think about this story for the game? And I think I've supported every fan-made project that I've seen. I think I always try to do my best to support that, and that's why we have community-driven content in the game for Dead House Sonata, because I think that's a feature of games. All the games that I've certainly worked on, like Blood Omen Legacy of Kain or Eternal Darkness or say Too Human, I've always tried to create rich worlds where people are left with a vivid memory for that world that we've created and want to contribute to it more. So the idea of moving forward with Dead House is to try to incorporate that. So yeah, 100% love all the fan-made stuff. And Omnicide, as an example, was really looking forward to that. Very disappointed to see that could not continue to move forward. But there are other fan-made projects that are happening, and I'm super excited to see those come to fruition.
First. No, I didn't want that.
All right, Caleb Lowlife has another question from Twitch, and it is: will we be able to acquire more hubs, like say castles or dungeons, or are we going to be limited to the original crypt or whatever that you give us for like our house?
I think certainly we'll be able to get more. We had someone in the community recently suggest that they build their own through their tools. That's also a very cool idea. So the answer is highly customizable living quarters and crypts or dark towers or whatever it's going to be, whatever people or gamers are looking for, we should be able to accommodate. Man, you're getting eaten alive here, buddy.
I don't even know what these are.
They're firing their plants. They're firing things out. Yeah.
Right, as plants do.
Yes.
That's where
Four
I
Hagens.
was. This is where I'm going.
Car. You want to chop that tree down and get up that tower.
Yeah,
That's
I
for
do.
sure. Misform.
Mist form. This is the one that allows me to travel across water, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I am fairly close to death.
I still have yet to figure out how to get 2 of the items in this dungeon. It is boggle me.
Really? I have to look.
It's like
I'll have to look.
it's
This.
towards the end, and it's below some railing of some sort, and I still haven't figured it out. And once you leave the dungeon, you can't come.
Oh, you can't come back. Okay. So you want to change into Misform? Did you get Misform?
No, I haven't gotten it yet.
Oh, okay.
All right, another question from Golden Zan on Discord. Will DHS have festive consumables, emotes, and/or other seasonal, less serious events?
I would think so. Yes. I think the answer to that is yes. I think that's part of our job to make sure that if that's asked for and desired by the community for cosmetics, we can certainly provide them. Are you sure you don't have Misform? You didn't pick up the card?
I don't think I've got. No, I have not gotten it yet.
He picked it up.
Yeah, you do have it. Go into your inventory and set it.
It should be under your performance menu on the left side.
No. Forms.
It's a transformation like werewolf.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
It's not a spell.
There was very little indication otherwise. So there we go.
There you go. Yeah. Now you can go through. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Oh.
All right. Does Dennis like Hideo Kojima work. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Hideo
pronounce it
Kojima.
correctly.
Kojima-san. Do
Yeah,
I like?
and
Do I like what?
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite title? And do you like his work
Yes,
from Gold?
I like his work quite a bit. I think my favorite game is Metal Gear Solid 2. I think they're all very cool. He's an amazing, creator. His storytelling and I guess sense of atmosphere that he creates is amazing. And I think he's a fantastic creator.
Okay. Oh,
The Heart of Darkness.
the Heart of Darkness.
You can't use items while wielding dual axes.
Oh, I did not know that. Interesting. Thank you for the tip, Josh.
There's this. You're gonna love this one. This gives you unlimited magic. Those things.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do
You
I?
gotta pick them up. Pick them up. Oh, this is what you can't get. Have you tried jumping over it as the wolf? Did you try?
No, this is not the one that I'm
Oh,
talking about. It's
okay.
like right towards the end of the dungeon.
Okay, so go in the wolf form, buddy.
Yeah.
Or maybe mist form. You can get it too. I don't know. Maybe you can get it in
I'll
mist
try
form.
mist form first.
Yeah. Okay, now you want to turn that on.
Turn.
The mist form on. Or so you want to select that item. Use that item.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, those enemies are.
Having a bad time. Having a bad day. There you go.
Oh, but I can't use items without.
You gotta switch the
Alright.
axes off. Right. There you go, buddy.
I am Thor.
Okay.
See the magic go up?
Oh, so it just regenerates my magic.
It gives you essentially unlimited magic while that's up
For a limited time.
for a limited time. Right.
Okay.
As long as the orb's on top of you. There you go.
Um,
Heart of Darkness. Go get those.
I am going to.
Alright, we got another question from James Carmichael, and it says spoiler, so I think we might have to have Ian do earmuffs or something, or just ignore. When Kain fights Mobius later on in the game, Mobius summons future Kain to fight. Is that an illusion, or is that an illusion, and was his teleportation power something you had planned?
Okay.
Oh, geez. This is going way back, story-wise. It's an illusion. I think that the Oracle was a master manipulator, and he would manipulate things, like even introducing himself as the Oracle of Nosgoth is a way that he would try to manipulate things. And the whole idea of him is, even though he had power over time, he was almost more powerful. You're dying all the time, right? So you need blood. So you might want to. Are these the two things you can't get? Here?
Yes, these are the two that I honestly have no clue how to get. I'm either dumb and I just can't figure it out, or there's something that I'm.
So misform. Did you? So go down. You need misform for it for sure.
Go down. Okay.
With misform. Let's try this. So I hope that answers that question. That's going way back. It's very. You have to remember that talking about edits and cuts is very difficult. I think you might have to kill that guy up there. Did you kill this? Oh yeah, he's dead. I don't think that'll matter. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that did it. I can
Did
try.
you try wolf form? Yeah.
I haven't tried that yet.
So jump over there, maybe? Oh, no, that won't do it. You might want to use one of your Hearts of Darkness.
Oh, probably, yeah. What do you think? Anyone in the chat?
Now you see my conundrum.
Yeah.
Anyone in the chat that knows?
I don't
exactly
remember
what's
this.
going on? Oh, I'm running low, but I sort of have to. Okay.
Alright, there you go.
Well, I gotta get going, unfortunately, but
Golden says something about jumping over the platform and the lower railing.
Yeah. The platform on the lower railing. Yeah.
I believe I tried this, but I will try again.
Favorite customer says probably never got these items either. Yeah. It's one of those really odd ones. I thought there was a switch and a door somewhere to go.
There could be. I don't remember this particular puzzle.
Yeah,
Try misform to get over there.
I cannot.
Why can't you?
I don't know. Oh,
Oh,
there we go.
well, you need energy. You need energy for misform.
Another
You
question
gotta
from
use
Caleb.
the orb. Use the orb
Okay.
to get magic. The orb.
Will our influence be felt throughout the world? Say we as a lich kill a village and raise the villagers as zombies. Can we expect to return to the village filled with our zombies?
That would be the idea. That would be the fun thing to do. And imagine going around naming cities, leaving things in carnage for other gamers to explore later. So I think that's the end. I think you can't. Yes. So the answer is yes, absolutely, 100%. That's the idea.
Oh, is that health? That makes me very happy.
Help me, kind sir. What are you waiting for, buddy?
I'm watching the pattern. What? I'm being smart. Yeah. Didn't matter anyway. I love that. I'm watching the pattern.
That was
Just
funny.
hits every single one.
That was funny.
Yeah, I'm a funny guy.
It was so mean to help me, kind sir.
Yeah.
You might want to do misform, but it could be me.
Well, I know with the sand.
Alright, here's one from Golden on Twitch. And it says, will vampires be able to drain blood from undead creatures or monsters in Dead House Sonata? And what effects might that have on the...
You got cut off right at the end. What effects might that have on the what?
on the vampire itself? Kind of throw back to Blood Omen with drinking the undead blood on this.
Yeah, so I think for every action there needs to be a consequence, and certainly the different blood systems that we had in Blood Omen Legacy of Kain certainly was very interesting, and we will definitely be exploring that in Dead House Sonata for sure. Cool. You might want to cut that tree down, buddy, but
Oh.
I know. No, don't do that. You'll die. Just keep going, walking over water. Look at you.
Like Jesus. Oh. Am I hit? Okay.
This is the area where we technically try to take our first death in the speedrun. We skip the mist form and just take the iframes to the...
Oh, really? That's cool. You want to go to the left, buddy. Keep going left. Why, what are you doing?
I'm almost out of energy. So I'm
Yeah,
trying
but-
to stay on the water.
No, you can use your orb.
Yeah, I'm about to.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. I see what you
Alright, Golden from the Discord asks, what sort of tools will be provided to the community to create their own content, and what won't you allow them to...
So the idea is we want people to be able to create almost anything that they want to create. And now we certainly will not allow like anything pornographic or anything, you know, illegal in nature, so copyrighted or anything like that. However, we want people to be able to create scenarios from the ground up, and the whole idea of working with Project Dios is that you will be able to create content without necessarily having to dive into the Lumberyard engine or being super technical. So we want people with no technical skill and only pure creative ideas be able to create things within Dead House Sonata. and that's the idea of the tools that we're trying to create, and so we just want to be as, really as unlimited as we can make it. So that's the idea. Stay left, I think, buddy.
Stay left, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we got another question from James Carmichael, and it is, Dennis, did you get to direct the voice actors, or did you have a separate voice actor director for that?
So we had a voice actor director casting. We had two. So the way that it generally works is you have someone who's a casting director who also voice directs, but at the same time we're there directing as well. So we were part of it. Typically the way it works is there are people, the casting directors are generally the one that directly works with the voice actors themselves, and then you're sitting in a separate room that's totally soundproof, giving feedback, and then that goes through the director. These are people who generally work with the actors all the time, and they feel very comfortable. Both the voice actors feel very comfortable with them. So whether it's Chris Zimmerman or another voice director, that's kind of the way it works.
Is this just a secret, or is this?
No, it is definitely a secret.
So it's not like it.
I think you're almost finished, aren't you? Did you go through? Oh,
Did I?
did you finish it? Did you explore the whole area? And
Yeah.
there is a way to look at the maps, right? Yeah, and I would do that once you get outside. So go outside.
Yeah, I have to go south.
South. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm low on.
Yeah.
I don't want to use my last orb thing,
Use
should
it.
I?
Yeah, who cares?
I don't care.
You'll get more.
Oh,
Well,
is that a
that's not the
cliff? Okay.
Look at the map. The map?
All right, we got a question from Derula from Discord, and it is, what happens to a vessel when their vitality is expended?
So if you're a vassal, okay, I have to. Oh my god. Okay, let's get some context in there. So, can you repeat the question? Let me make sure I understand it. This might be a good place to stop too.
What happens to a vessel when their vitality is expended? I'm assuming when you take control of another human and use their power source
As a lich.
to-
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
die. They die. It's a very gruesome death. So you're essentially stealing all of their life force in order to cast magic as a lich, and vessels that way it's pretty rough on the actual person themselves. They're goners essentially. Not a good way to die. Oh, that's a swamp.
Oh. It
Hard
looked like
up there.
trees.
Yeah, okay. You got to get to a save. Buddy.
There's no. I'm trying. Don't buddy me. Okay. 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 Or spawn again. Okay. The Heart of Darkness.
This is looking pretty tough.
Yeah, it is. Nice. Well,
You
I
have
got to
perished.
the last save. To my last save, Scott.
There's a sanctuary spell that you could use and save in there, and then fly back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. I was just trying to get to the next
Next save point.
save point.
You made whelp.
What does whelp mean? Because I get that no matter what.
No, that's just you just haven't rated high enough to get above Whelp. It's a rating
Does
system.
it mean I'm not doing well?
Yeah,
Alright.
it means you're still at
9.7. You died.
9.7.
9.7 out of 10. That sounds great.
This is probably a good place to end.
Yes, this is a great place to end. Thank you for joining us, Josh.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for all the questions. Josh, it was great having you on. I look forward to watching some of your speed runs, and maybe you'll come visit us on the show again.
Hopefully, if my work allows it.
Cool.
I had to take the day off to do this.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Thanks very much. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. And
Yeah,
thank
it's
you
awesome
everyone
feed.
for joining the stream. Be sure to check out our Discord and our website, deadosonata.com. There you can find more lore about the game, some details about the classes. Currently there's the Lich and the Revenant. We go into a bit. Next week you'll see more about the Vampire.
That's right.
And yeah, join our Discord, join our forums, and that's where you can ask more questions that will be answered tonight.
Absolutely. And if you want to support the development, get a supporter pack, join the First Age, and we look forward to seeing everyone next week. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks.